So, what has our favourite Chinese multi-hyphenate A-lister been up to this week? Find out on the WEIBO Weekly! Well, the big news this week was WEIBO Night, which was last Thursday, February the 5th. I didn't actually watch it. I know I said last week that I'd be watching all of it. I saw bits and pieces of it squinting on my phone, but I spent most of the day traveling last Thursday, as it turned out, and then by the time I finally got home, I was so wasted. I could not manage to watch the rest of it because it went forever. I woke up in the middle of the night and I think it had just finished. So it was like started midday and just kept going. Having said that I didn't watch it live, although I did see a few people on the red carpet as I was waiting for a train. I didn't miss a whole lot because as far as I can tell, YIBO did do the red carpet. So you see, that's tick. That's one of the things. And he did get up and have an award, which is not a surprise. So 2 ticks. But did he ever sit in the audience at any point? As far as I can tell, the answer to that question is no. There was hours and hours and hours and hours and hours of this show and YIBO was nowhere. So maybe it just is just as well that I wasn't there being frustrated by his absence. He had an assigned seat in the second row. And yes, it was empty. It was empty, but like that's unsurprising at this point. You know, that's basically what we've come to expect. But there were 2 looks. There was look 1, which is what he arrived in and did his grand entrance. I feel like I need to say red carpet, but there was not a stitch of carpet or red to be seen. It was this very elaborate sort of entrance portal, which had like, it was dark and it had like blue swirly things and it had green and black flashing walls. And yeah, it was quite the thing. And that was, and then they came out through there and signed the wall. So it was the red carpet equivalent. And he looked amazing. You want to see it? I'm sure you've already seen it, but let's look at it again. Yeah? So yes, that was look 1. Both looks were amazing, but this one is the one that really shook me. I cannot look at it and not see a clerical collar, but I know that that's probably not the reference. My Chinese teacher looked at it and immediately saw that the collar as a Chinese collar, like it saw that it referenced sort of Chinese lines. It's a really interesting fusion, I think, of Western and Eastern influences. I really liked it, and him looking completely, is grim the word? Serious. Very, very serious the whole time he was in that one. I really think kind of just set it off. When he returned for the award, he was awarded, he wasn't awarded. He was awarded, but he and Vikram Channa, the executive producer of Exploring the Unknown 2, he's the guy from Warner's Discovery, they got up to accept the award for Best Documentary. So it wasn't an individual award for Wang YIBO, it was an award for the show Exploring the Unknown with Wang YIBO Season 2. And of course, that's basically all he's done last year. So that's what the award would be for if it was going to be for anything. And one of the big sort of discussions arising from the night were that the announcer basically tried to get the Vikram Channa, the Discovery exec, to leave the stage. Immediately upon, they stood up, they got a round of applause. There was one award statuette and one bunch of flowers, and there were two of them, and it was a bit weird. And then the announcer was trying to get rid of the executive producer to just leave YIBO on the stage by himself. But YIBO, and the announcer was speaking in Chinese, and Vikram did not understand that he was being ushed, and YIBO just ignored all of that and just, gestured towards the microphone, and Vikram Channa made his obviously prepared remarks, which was in very stumbly Chinese. Even I could tell it was very stumbly Chinese, but nevertheless, obviously, some effort had been put in to prepare remarks, and it was short, and it was, then it was done. Then they had YIBO do a little bit of a game on the stage, as they are wont to do, and he seemed to take part in that without too much ill will. So good for you, YIBO. They put up some bits and pieces from the doco, and they asked him to indicate how he felt about them, and they gave him a bunch of paddles with different possible answers, and he answered the same way with the same answer to each one. Which is such a quintessentially Wang Yibo thing to do. I love the man. I don't know. He's just he's like 155% himself. It's amazing. And yes, most importantly, he was wearing a different set of clothes for the second appearance. Would you like to see that one? Yes, you would. Yes, you would. Let's have a look at look 2. My heart, the man is so good looking, it should be a crime. Anyway, Vogue agreed with me. They put him up on their list of best dressed of the week. And again, it was a WEIBO night week, so there were a lot of options, and YIBO was there, as he should be. So did anything else actually happen this week? Well, yes. Not a great deal, and I'm not going to be talking about it at length, but there were a few things. It's the lead up to Spring Festival, and there were a bunch of the brands kind of did stuff associated with that, and there's just lots of stuff going on around that in China. It's also the Winter Olympics is on this week, and importantly for us, that meant a number of his sport aligned brands did sport aligned kind of pieces with YIBO, and Su Yiming, who you may remember from the UGG campaign, when he relaunched with UGG, there was a campaign with YIBO and another guy, and that guy is Su Yiming, who is a winter athlete, and he actually got the bronze medal in his event during the week, and YIBO commented on or liked his post or something about it, pretty much straight away. So that YIBO is clearly watching the Winter Olympics, which of course he is, and so that was something else that happened this week. Not a great deal more, even though WEIBO Night was on last Thursday. There's been materials coming out still, even up until yesterday from then. There's really not been a great deal else. I think all of China is focused on either the Winter Olympics or preparations for Spring Carnival, Spring Festival. So that is what's happening here, and it brings us up to brand stuff. There were really quite a lot of promotions launched this or continued this week. Castrol had a big one. They had a new ad, full sort of television commercial type ad. YIBO wasn't in all of it, but he was certainly in some of it. And it's sort of framed around traveling home for Spring Festival, because that's a big thing that people do. It's a big travel time of year in the lead up to Spring Festival, because people are going home. So there was that. White Elephant Food put out more of their ad campaign, which is based around traveling home for Spring Festival. Red Bull put out a picture about traveling home for Spring Festival with YIBO. Flyco, the new brand that he just started with last week, they had some more of their initial push came out. The last few parts of their initial big promotion came out this week. And they also put out a vid of YIBO speaking to camera, giving advice on what gift to buy, what gift the girlie should buy the bloke in her life for Valentine's Day. And yeah, if I think about that too hard, I laugh. So that happened this week. There was Helly Hansen had a big new promotion. They'd been doing some teasers last week. Well, the main event of it, which was another vid and some more photos, came out this week. Jimmy Choo also continued their sort of promo. New materials came out from that shoot with the flowers in the sort of, industrial sort of warehousey type place. The more photos and some more new vid came out from that. And there were a couple more things, but the one that I really loved this week was Petchoin. Petchoin, we saw a still of that Vogue put out of a Petchoin YIBO pic, and the actual video of that came out this week, and that's what we're going to go out with in a moment. Yeah, it's the one where they got in with a real horse, so points, right? I've got links below. There's more brand stuff than I can remember right now, and there was a whole bunch of photos that came out from WEIBO Night. So if you haven't had enough of looking at the beautiful outfits, you can go and have a look down in the links in the description. This coming week is going to be Spring Festival. The Spring Festival Gala is next Tuesday, I think, or maybe Monday. I'm sorry, it's very hot here right now, and I've had one of those days where my brain is running slow, so forgive me. It will be for next Wednesday at any rate, so I still haven't seen any confirmation that YIBO is going to be taking part, but I'm very hopeful. I'm very hopeful that when I come back next week, we're going to have not just some pretty outfits to look at, but a whole new performance. Wouldn't that be amazing? I hope you're all well, and I hope you have a wonderful YIBO Wednesday.